Howdy, partner, and welcome to your favorite preacher show. I appreciate all of you who are tuning in. Be sure to subscribe if you are watching using YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. I need 120 more subscribers to reach 250. That's my next goal. And my next goal is 15,000 total views. I'm over halfway there. So be sure and subscribe. I need your help, need it desperately in order to reach 250 subscribers and 15,000 total views. You can help me out. In fact, only you can get me there. And for those of you who use Facebook, and as I have said before, many times the number of views, Facebook views compared to YouTube are 10 to 1. And so those of you who watch Facebook, that's wonderful. Watch the podcast using Facebook, that's wonderful. But if you would just go over to YouTube and subscribe, I could reach my goals almost overnight. And so I'm depending on your help for that. Okay, today, and by the way, I have a short show, podcast for you. I think this one may be right around 10 minutes. I'm thinking about books. According to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 11 and 12, the wise man said, The words of wise men are like golds, and masters of these collections are like well-driven nails. They are given by one shepherd. But in addition to this, my son, be warned. The making of many books is endless, and much devotion to books is wearying to the flesh. Well, I have bought and read lots of books over the past 50 years, and books when I was in high school or when I was in school. I've always loved books, always loved reading newspapers and magazines. Well, I have also written several books with the help of some very wonderful people. The first one that I wrote, and this is the one that I am most thankful for, titled You Can Know, 5 Steps to Blessed Assurance. Lots of people read it, told me how much it was helpful to them. That made it all worthwhile. This book is titled Christianity from A to Z. Is based on a radio program that I do every day in Lewisburg, Tennessee, WJJM FM, every morning at 6:20. And this is a book titled Preaching from the Rough, Bible Lessons from a Golfer's Point of View. The lessons are about lessons I learned on the golf course with my son. I learned a lot of hard lessons, by the way. A few words of encouragement, a few more words of encouragement, and then I wrote this one, I think it was last year, How to Have a Relationship with God. This is a self-help book as far as how to become a Christian. You can read this and basically teach yourself how to become a Christian. And then this was my latest one. It's in a magazine form titled A Biblical Study of the Redemption of Men, or of man. So I've written several books. None of them are bestsellers, obviously, but I've had lots of people to read them and to tell me how much they were helpful to them. That made it all worthwhile. Well, I wanted to tell you today about another book that I am writing. In fact, I'm in the beginning stages of it, and it's titled The Cross is More Than a Piece of Jewelry. Now, when I say that, I'm not opposed to people wearing a cross around their neck. I'm not opposed to that at all. In fact, my wife, Sue, she wore a cross around her neck many times, and so does my son. I think he has a wristband that has a cross on it. I'm not opposed to that. In fact, I think that's a good way of identifying yourself as a believer. But the cross is more than a piece of jewelry, obviously. And in fact, I want to leave you with this verse. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18. This is one of my favorite Bible passages. In fact, one of my favorite verses. Paul said, "For the word of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing." The word of the cross, meaning the message of the cross. What the Bible teaches us about the cross. The world of unbelievers, when they hear that, they scoff at that. For instance, if you were to visit a college campus, one of our major universities, maybe even the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, where my son graduated from college several years ago. If you were to visit the campus and if you were able to talk to the professors there, now you may find some who are actual believers. On the other hand, you might find some who are scoffers. The notion of Jesus, a man, they would say, with God living inside of him. And then he dies on a cross like a common criminal. And his death on the cross was and is the means of our salvation. They hear that and they think that's ridiculous. In fact, they think the people who believe that are ridiculous. They would say, "You're just an antiquated redneck." Only a redneck would believe something like that, a hillbilly. Well, I believe it. I believe every word the Bible teaches us about it. And for me, Paul said, "But to us who are being saved, it is the power of God." The cross is the means by which God saves us. There is no redemption without Jesus and what he did on the cross. His death is absolutely essential. Every Lord's Day at the church where I preached for the past 18 years and still attend, the Westview Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee, we share in the Lord's Supper every Sunday. We break bread and we drink from a cup filled with the fruit of the vine, grape juice. And why do we do that? Why do I do that? Because it reminds me of the body and blood sacrifice of Jesus that he made where? On the cross. And as a result of the sacrifice made by Jesus on the cross, my sins are forgiven. And I have entered into a relationship with God. And sometime in the future, whether it's by my death or Jesus' return, he will welcome me into his heavenly kingdom. Why? Because Jesus died on the cross to save me. And for me, as Paul said, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. Well, I hope all of you will be encouraged by that and embrace the cross. Trust what Jesus did on the cross and allow him to save you as a result of the cross. In the future, I plan to talk more about the cross and what it should mean to all of us, things that I'm going to eventually insert into the book. But until then, remember the cross. It's more than a piece of jewelry. Well, today it's a bit overcast, but the sun comes out occasionally. I think it's supposed to be turning really cold tonight and maybe cold tomorrow, the next few days. But that'll be okay. Tomorrow's the Lord's Day. According to the clock on the wall, it's 1:19 p.m. So I hope all of you are having a good afternoon. I hope all of you will have a good evening. And I hope all of you will have a wonderful Lord's Day tomorrow. And remember, one more time, be sure and if you're watching using YouTube, subscribe, leave a comment, like what I have to say. Even if you don't like it, say you do. Do whatever you have to do, my friend, to help me out to reach my goals. 250 YouTube subscribers and 15,000 total views. If you use Facebook, that's fine. That's wonderful. I know I get many more of you who do that, and that's fine. And all your nice comments that you leave, I certainly appreciate that. So be sure and help me out. And I hope this message today about the cross of Jesus will be helpful to you. Until next time, goodbye.